Hello, everyone. It's Pamela, your new hire coach, back at you again today. Today, I have a really exciting video for you guys because I have asked a fellow teacher to show how she uses props in her classroom, uses secondary reward systems, but also uses different props to associate within her classes. Now, the reason I asked somebody else to do it is because I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to the extra stuff that's added in class. Now, as I mentioned in my prior videos, depending on who you are as a teacher, you tend to get either K1 babies or all the way up to, say, level 1 and level 2. So most of my students are more advanced levels from a level 2 upwards, so I don't get the fun of using fun props in class as much as the teacher who I'm about to show you. So I want to say thank you to Marjorie for allowing herself to be out here on YouTube with us to help all of you teachers out there and inspire you guys on what types of props to use. Now, in our exclusive Facebook group, we share daily on different types of tips and tricks we use in our classrooms and what new creativity comes to light with other teachers. So if you'd like to be part of our group, go to gogokidapply.com and come on over and join our exclusive support group on your hiring process, where you'll have access to all these wonderful, beautiful teachers in our exclusive group. So come on over to gogokidapply.com and we're happy to help you through the process. So here it is. Here's Marjorie.
Hello everyone, Teacher Marjorie here. My sister asked me to share with you a little video about how I use props in my Gogokid classroom. The strategy I use is quite simply trying to exemplify what is actually being taught in the classroom. Sometimes for the very junior children, so the K1 babies or K babies as we often refer to them, I really try hard to not make it complicated, using very minimalistic language and just something visual to kind of interest them and to provide some sort of a break in the actual material and have a little bit of fun. So I'll start with the K babies. For instance, I had a K baby today, 25-minute lesson, teaching the child to say the word pink. 25 minutes of repeating the word pink. So sometimes that can seem very daunting for a teacher. How do you spend 25 minutes instructing the child to repeat over and over again the word pink? Well, you can see right back here, this is not the view you would get from my classroom, so I'm sorry, it's a little narrower than you would normally see. But in my regular classroom, you can see the whole background quite clearly in my classroom. So for this pink lesson, one of my favorite things to do is actually just offer pink flowers to my students. So every time they, every couple of minutes or so, I will offer them, oh, pink, pink. It is pink. Yes, for Bow Bow. And I'll put it back here in my little jar. And we will count them periodically as well. So we will break the pink cycle and count how many pink flowers there are. Today, Bow Bow got 6 pink flowers. I have probably about 10 ready. If we need to break a little bit more, we'll break a little more often. Sometimes I will review the actual colors other than pink. So here I have red and pink. So I'll bring up different colors and extend it and exemplify what we're already learning. So that's an idea for pink. I do that also just to let you know there are lots of boys who take that same lesson, and for a long time all I had was flowers, and generally speaking I still use my flowers, but I will also bring in different props. So that's my secondary reward for the pink lesson. I have this little thing which the kids think is wonderful, so I'll say, oh, pink, pink. This one's broken. but I have them in all my colors, so obviously this one needs to be swapped out. So, and then I'll blow it. They like that. Another thing I often do is I have glasses, all kinds of crazy glasses, and the glasses I have in all the colors. One of my other favorite things to do is for the boys. They love cars. It is pink. It is a pink car. Brum, 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 brum. And oftentimes this little tool will get them running off to find their cars. And then we have a moment where we play cars, and it breaks it up, but we still talk about car. I often use cars as well for if I'm teaching the letter C, cars. So I have all different colored cars because we teach purple, we teach pink, and so on. Another one of my favorite things to do, and without taking too much time, I will use purple because it's here. So I buy a bag of balloons at the dollar store. The dollar store is my favorite place to go. And I can't go in there without seeing all kinds of different ideas for props, for secondary reward systems. And generally speaking, I try to keep it to a minimum cost because I can go crazy. So one of my other things I do is purple. Purple. Pretend I can't blow it up. And they always blow. And when they start to blow, they stop blowing. I'm surprised. I ask them continue. They continue. Purple. Purple. And then I'll make a big sound and jump back and they laugh. And then I go, purple. And they love it. It's so simple. It uses some time. We get the word purple in and we have a little fun doing it. One last thing that I will show you, which is kind of just clever, and you can get them in packs of, I think, 6 at the dollar store. Orange. Orange. So I use whatever. So that's for the K-babies. K-babies, we don't use a lot of language. We need to use a lot of props. That being said, one of your best props, obviously, is yourself. And yes, I use a lot of TPR. I encourage. Another one of my absolute favorite props, absolute favorite, is my trusted mic. Now, my regular students know I love my mic. I will invite them to speak. I will get them to, so that I don't even have to use words and I can get them repeating me. Sometimes if I use too many words, so if I say orange, they will say orange. So they will say orange. So sometimes I just go orange, orange. So it's just using what you have so that they can see and understand much more clearly and exemplify that material we already use. Okay, let's go a little bit further, a little bit faster. Sorry, take a long time. Another thing that I use, and I just finished class, so my class is a bit of a mess, but I use the Find a Star tables. Now, the Find a Star tables, I find with my K2 students, these are great. We reinforce the numbers. So in this case, I just use numbers. They generally go 1 through 9, but some of them will catch on very quickly that teacher Marjorie often has patterns in her tables. So these tables are, I plastified them and they are two-sided. So I have probably about 10 different tables where I can keep the child guessing because they're so clever that they catch on very quickly. Another one of my absolute favorite reward systems, and this is more for maybe the older kids. I don't always use them for the really young kids. I would say from K2 to level 1, for those children, I use a sticker reward system. So I'm just trying to find you like some of my common regular students. So this is one of my students. Every time she has a class with me, I give her a sticker. I put the date on it so she can see it, because at the end of this week, I have about 4 or 5 cards ready to go. And these 4 or 5 cards will be sent to a Gogokid home office, and they will distribute them to our students, because at Gogokid we are not allowed to contact the parents and the students outside of the Gogokid classroom. So while I still wanted them to have it, I didn't want to breach my contract. So Gogokid has agreed to distribute them for me. So it's a nice little thing. They get excited about 23 minutes into class. They'll start yelling for their sticker. They want their sticker. So it is very good, and it helps bring those students back. And it also gives them something to remember Teacher Marjorie from. So, which is something that I like to do. I like to leave them with a little impression. Now, when it comes to the older kids, so I have, granted, my classroom is set up for babies because I have more junior level students or emergent learners than I do for the older kids, but I love having the older kids. I love it because we get to have conversation, and it's so interesting. And much of the time, the older kids are not interested in secondary reward systems or props. So I try to keep that to I try to be minimalistic in terms of that. And that's just to respect them and their interests. But sometimes what I will do is I'll use, again, a find a star. Now this one's got Peppa Pig. They don't even care. They just want the star. And you can see it's the alphabet. It seems pretty simple and probably a little too elementary for the older kids, but it isn't, because I will use this, yes, for the little children, but I will also use it for my level 3 and 4s, and I won't let them get away that easily. I'll say, what letter do you want? And they'll choose B. And I'll say, okay, so tell me a word from our lesson that begins with the letter B. And so they have to remember what words we're learning in the lesson, what words we've already reviewed, and give me a word with the letter B. Banana doesn't count. They need to use something interesting. Sometimes if it's a simple word, I'll say, okay, use it in a sentence. So I get them to extend in that way. Another way for those older students, they love to talk and they love to chat and they love to ask us questions. So about every 5 minutes or so, instead of offering a find a star, you can say, okay, now Bao Bao, what question would you like to ask teacher? You can ask me anything. I've had so many interesting questions like, teacher, why do people have so many children in Canada? So, I mean, what an interesting conversation starter that is. My biggest thing is, because if you haven't noticed, I'm a talker. So the chat in your go-go class, oh yes, they're talking about me. So I have to try and limit my response, but it does spark some really interesting conversations. So that's how I do it. I have, as I said, way too many props, way too many reward systems, but I like to keep it interesting. And as you can see from my sticker cards, I get a lot of the same students back. So sometimes I reuse the same systems, but I try to keep it interesting. So for this one's a butterfly. So we put the pieces together and it creates a butterfly. I can use this in the pink teaching lesson, or I can use it in the blue lesson, and we talk about the colors and we talk about the shapes. Another big, we have a whole unit in shapes. And actually I meant to show you that. So we have a whole unit in shapes. I use this today. And we will teach semicircle and circle and rectangle and square and triangle. And for those, I use these little cheap Dollarama puzzle boards. I take it off the puzzle, put a little magnet on the back, and we talk about blue. It is blue. it is a blue rectangle. And I talk about the green one with circles, and it's just brilliant. It's just all kinds of shapes. Then we talk about the orange square, and what could it be? What could be? It is a boat. But I always leave them in suspense. I build it, try to get them guessing. What is it? And they'll often say, green, it is blue, it is orange, because that's what I've taught them. But they don't see the image yet. And then at the end, I show them the boat. Oh, they get so excited. It's so easy. And then another one, same idea, is this one. It's the dog. And the dog, I'll use it. I just put in the semicircle. I can use it for semicircle. I can use it for orange. I can use it for ears here, because he has a big ear. I can use it for eyes. So this one little puzzle can be used for many, many, many lessons. So that's how I try to purchase my my aids, my classroom aids, is to try to make sure it's useful for many lessons, so that I can use it again and again and still keep it interesting and bring out different ideas from the same tools. So I hope you found this interesting. I hope that you look beyond your classroom and find all kinds of fun things to incorporate, and just try and help the student really understand those colors, and that when we look around, we can see them all around us, even not just those 4-letter words on the screen, that in fact that color surrounds us, and that we have to be observant and look. Or those shapes are all around us and we just have to look. So it reinforces all of that. And don't forget, when you are writing your feedback, always include information about that secondary reward system that you put in place, or those props you use that really caught his interest or her interest, because those are the things that the parents really love to see and hear. They already know what you've taught them in class, because let's face it, they're sitting right next to them. Yes, you can't see them, but they are there. What they want to know is they want to understand, why did you use that? What did it do? How did it help the learning process? And I can tell you, I have only taught 390, almost probably 400 classes. And in those 400 classes, I do not ever ask for feedback. What I do is I incorporate all of the things that I do in the classroom, and I make sure that their feedback is quality feedback. And I have 80 parent feedback reviews, and I must say I'm always very pleased to hear what they have to say and how they appreciate the effort. So it doesn't take a lot of effort. We can reuse everything, but the point is, make it count. Do your best. Always have your smile. Know that your biggest and best prop is always yourself, but everything that you use in the classroom can exemplify and extend those little lessons where we're just teaching one word over 25 minutes. Anyway, I hope this was useful. I hope I did GoGoKidApply.com good or well, and that it meets all the criteria that you are looking for. And know that with Gogokid Apply, you get this and so much more. I often, at least once a week, I would say, share different reward systems that I use in the classroom, and share just to kind of spark interest. And honestly, sometimes we get so caught up in the everyday, we lose that creativity. So it's important to share, and we have a great community here at Gogokid Apply, and hopefully you'll come join us, because we're waiting to help you. Bye bye.